Do you ever stand in front of your fridge wondering what's for dinner? Meal planning solves that, but here's the trick. Start with your pantry. I'll show you how to turn what you already have into a week's worth of meals. Let's quickly refresh how this works. The first step is to write down everything in your pantry on a notepad or a sheet of paper. Note the item, the quantity, the expiration date, anything close to expiring or that's already expired but you think is still okay to use, put a star next to it. I recommend using a pencil to do this. Go one shelf at a time. Write the items down that are on that shelf or cupboard. From there you can categorize it or organize it into a notebook, which will become your pantry inventory. The next step is that we're going to look at that list and see what kind of meals we can make out of the items that you already have, supplementing with things that you may need to buy from the store to fill in the gap. That's going to become your grocery list. Hi, I'm Lori, and welcome to my channel, Lori Over 70, where we talk about saving money, retirement, and other fun stuff. That I found this week that I have enough in my pantry for without spending any money is the walnut taco filling. I'm going to be doing a not so fancy cooking video to show you how I make that. Let's get started. The first thing that I do is I get all my spices together in a small container or bowl so I can just dump them in when I need to. This is onion powder. Just follow the recipe. I don't really measure it exactly, but I like to prep the recipe ahead of time so that I get everything. What happened to the cap on that? Oh, there it is. So I get everything together. So I'm going to need that ketchup. And then I have a tablespoon of this, approximately, smoked paprika. These Pantry spices, love Pantry spices. So here's a really good example of it's important to do your pantry inventory, including your spices, because you can see that I've got this brand new container of onion powder and garlic powder. And then in my last shopping trip, which I just got a few groceries the other day, guess what I also bought? Another thing of onion and garlic powder, because in my brain I thought I was out and I had just purchased it. So now I have it plenty to go for a couple of years probably. So then I'm going to put in some pepper and I just kind of eyeball it. This one of my favorites, California seasoned pepper from Pantry's, delicious. Already put salt in, and now one thing that I actually am out of, which I have on order and it's on its way, is cumin. So instead I'm going to use this Mexican seasoning blend, which has cumin in it, and I think the recipe calls for 1 to 2 tablespoons, so just throw that in. So I'm going to use that, and it'll taste a little bit different, but it'll still be good. So I just mix this all up. And now this is ready to go into my skillet once I get that going. The next thing is I have this bag of walnuts. I have pre-sorted them when I purchased them, and I found them in my pantry. So that's why I'm going to be able to make this walnut filling today. And I already have everything between my pantry and the fridge, so I didn't have to purchase anything to have 3 or 4 meals. So I'm going to do a rough cut on these walnuts, and because they really need to be used up, I'm going to rough cut all of them, and then it might turn out to be more than a single recipe. It might actually be a double recipe, but that's okay because I'll just freeze it. So I'm just going to do a rough cut, and then just make sure they are in kind of small pieces, you know, because it's going to be going into tacos. And you can use a food processor for this. It's just here where I'm at in my tiny apartment. I did actually have a food processor, one of those minis, but then I couldn't get the lid off of it. And finally, after struggling with it and wrestling with it, I just threw it away. It just wasn't worth it. So you're gonna just do like a rough cut about like that. Rough cut like this or whatever seems right to you. So now I have a bowl of walnuts, which was a lot more than I was expecting. And so I have already 2 packs of these mushrooms in the fridge, just sliced cremini mushrooms, and I'm going to rough cut these, same that I did with the walnuts, just really quick. It's not anything fancy, it's just getting the job done. Just into small pieces so they blend in well with the size of the walnuts that you cut. Okay, so I've got everything chopped and ready to go. So now I'm gonna I have a skillet. Since I have such a tiny kitchen, I have one skillet, a covered skillet that's this size. It's like this. And then I have a smaller one that has a lid. I have one saucepan, and I have one big pot if I want to cook spaghetti or stew or something like that. That's it. I don't have a bunch of kitchen hardware here because there's just no room for it. I'm using avocado oil today. That's just what I have. Use what you have. Don't buy a bunch of new stuff. Just throw some in there. I'm not really measuring it, but 2-3 tablespoons is good. And I'm going to put everything in. All the walnuts. I'm gonna say that's about 1, 2, 3. That's about 4 cups, maybe a little more. So that's to like a double batch of the recipe. And then I'm going to put the mushrooms in. The next thing is I need a tablespoon of soy sauce or Tamarai sauce. I've got a double batch, so I'm just going to throw a bunch of, play it by ear. I don't really use a lot of measurements, but if you use the recipe, this will come out perfect. I'm using Bragg's coconut Aminos instead of soy sauce, and then some ketchup. Again, I'm just going to kind of eyeball it because I'm going to adjust these seasonings at the end. And I'm using the no sugar added Heinz, and I got this because I really like the Primal Kitchen brand, but it's way too expensive right now. So then I've got all my spices that I assembled earlier, and that's just per the recipe. And I don't think I doubled this, but I always put extra. So I'm going to just dump these in. And then I'm just going to do a mix-up, mix everything together really carefully so it doesn't spill out the sides. It's a pretty big pan of stuff right now. It's just because I had all those walnuts. Well, I had 2 packs of mushrooms in the fridge that were perfectly fresh, but I wouldn't trust them to be in there another day. And then that bag of walnuts that I found. And they were fresh also, but I could tell just by the way they taste that they're not going to go much longer before they spoil. So I used all of them. And I'm going to get, if I'm double batch, so because this is a double batch, originally I estimated that I was going to get about 12 tacos out of this. Now I'm going to get 24 tacos, which a lot of this taco filling is going to go in the freezer in portion baggies so that I can enjoy tacos pretty much for the rest of the month by using stuff that was in my pantry already. That's what it looks like all mixed up. And now this is going to cook for a while, and I'm going to occasionally stir it to make sure that it's not burning. Okay, so it's been cooking about 10-12 minutes. I'm not going to adjust the seasonings because it's just come out perfectly seasoned from what I threw in there earlier. And so now I'm going to just cover this. I drizzled a little bit of avocado oil over it, maybe a tablespoon, and I'm just letting it rest for a few minutes. And now I'm going to start assembling my tacos. I just use the lettuce that comes pre-washed. And then I had these beautiful heirloom tomato, which I chopped up part of, about 1/3 of it. And I'm going to use those for toppings. And then I'm using just some triple cheddar or any kind of shredded cheese, whatever you have, whatever you like. And then today, because I have this in the fridge, it's just enough for today's lunch, I think. And so I'm going to use this Taco Bell taco sauce. So I have 3 taco shells, and it's just in this little taco stand. You get it on Amazon, it's super cheap. And I'm gonna fill each one with a nice heaping tablespoon or more of this filling. And now you can see I've got this huge amount left, which is gonna go in the fridge and the freezer. So I just fill them up about like that. And those are shells that I had in my pantry already. This is just how I assemble them. You do your tacos however you do tacos. I do them any kind of way. So then I just put a generous amount of cheese on each one. And then I have already put a little bit of salt and pepper on this lettuce and tomato. Walnut was on the plate. I just kind of throw the lettuce on top of there. Doesn't have to be inside the taco shells because you can deal with that when you're eating it, and a lot of it's going to fall out, and then I just eat it with a fork. Okay, so now I have this delicious looking lunch, and I'm going to put some hot sauce on it. Well, some taco sauce. Okay, and that used up that rest of the taco sauce, so I can throw that away. And there you go. I'm going to have this delicious lunch now, and I have all of this taco filling left over to put in the fridge for pretty much the rest of the month. I'll be having tacos, and that's it. This is a non-fancy cooking video, just to show you how I make the walnut tacos and using whatever was in my pantry today. So now from this batch of taco filling that I made, I have this really delicious lunch, and I was able to freeze 4 more servings of 3 tacos each and put those into the freezer. I used quart freezer bags to do that. Plus, I've got 1 more portion in the fridge. So out of that batch, I got 6 servings. So 6 times 3 is 18, so 18 tacos. The other things I found in my pantry this week that I can have are tuna salad sandwiches. I have some soup and crackers. And I also have some Canadian bacon and eggs and some shredded cheese that I can make into a meal. I also found some yogurt that expired a few days ago, but I'm going to use that in a couple of smoothies so that I can use it up. So I encourage you to find whatever is in your pantry and do some simple meal planning. It's one of the best ways to save money and reduce waste. In the next video, we'll move to the fridge, because organizing your fridge is another way that you can save money. Please subscribe and keep following the Pantry Challenge. And if you found this video helpful, please send it to or share it with some of your friends. Thank you so much for watching today, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.